welcome to another episode of Cyber Nights podcast, where we deep dive into the world of cybersecurity, digital identity, and other technologies shaping the future of digital landscape. I'm your host Kavita, and today we have lined up an extraordinary conversation with a leading expert in digital forensics, retired Colonel Santosh Khadsare, and now Chief Business Officer at SysTools. With years of experience in digital forensics and cyber investigation, Santosh has played a pivotal role in some of the most complex and high profile cases in the field. And now we are excited to understand how his expertise is influencing the business side of the industry. So let's get started. Thank you so much, Santosh, for joining us today. It is a privilege to have you in another episode of Cyber Nights, and we would love to hear from you. And to begin with, you recently stepped into the new role as a Chief Business Officer at SysTools. We would love to hear from you what exactly the SysTools do and what your new role envisages.
Firstly, thank you for inviting me again to your podcast and the new role which I've taken over as Chief Business Officer Cybersecurity at SysTools. So SysTools is a 100% Indian company. SysTools is a global leader in digital forensics, cybersecurity solutions, data recovery, which is our fulcrum, and investigation services. We specialize in developing advanced tools and delivering expert-led services to the law enforcement, governments, and other enterprises, the corporates too. Our portfolio spans across four major domains, basically digital forensics and investigations, incident response, enterprise data protection, and product development. We have around 200 plus cyber security software products which we have in our portfolio. From email recovery tools to, you can say, any kinds of tool related to data migration, all is our forte. Now, as a CBO of SysTools, my role is both strategic as well as execution driven. I serve a bridge between the technical innovation, what happened in the company, and the market needs which are required. And I contribute in the mission and growth towards the company. So that's what I do. Now, I lead the growth strategy of our cybersecurity division, which also includes, you can say, DFI, digital forensics, and incident response. And this involves identifying new business opportunities, forming strategic alliances, expanding, and also execution, which is very much important as such. I also work very closely with stakeholders as other CBOs do, that are with CISOs and other investigators, IT leads, CXOs, the C-suite from different companies. Innovation is a forte and product alignment, because products are our main you can say fulcrum. As I said, we have a lot of products which we make ourselves, we develop ourselves. So we provide a lot of inputs to the R&D of our teams, our engineering teams, so that we can evolve. Like AI is a new hot topic, so we call our company as a AI driven company. So that's what we are. We also are into training and awareness as a part of my mandate, regulatory and policy integration. So various policies by the government of India, or we work internationally also, so other government. In essence, my role is to ensure that cybersecurity at SysTools is not just for defending system, but we also provide solutions, product to others, so that they can protect the ecosystem, especially the IT infrastructure. So that's what, in short, what I do at SysTools as of now.
That's very interesting. In short, you do a multiple, your role looks like really quite vast actually. And I'm sure it's a quite exciting journey as well, now since you've just taken it over. So all the best for that as well. So moving to my next question, basically I wanted to understand what are the biggest mistakes organizations do when handling digital evidence, and how can they avoid compromising forensic investigations?
This question is very important and close to my heart, because, as you know, I've been a digital forensic analyst for around 25 years plus in my law enforcement service, and also with ministry at certain, and now here in corporate. And since forensics is my forte and I've been doing it hands-on for such a long time, I've always seen that the organizations often make several critical mistakes while handling digital evidence, which can severely compromise the forensic investigation and even render evidence, inadmissible in the court of law, which is the ultimate goal of every investigation. Now, some of the biggest mistakes, let me start with the basic mistakes of, documentation as such. Now, most important in any investigation is the chain of custody, right? So, failing to document how the evidence was seized, where it traveled, it impacts the investigation, and later even the courts have to rely on this. And most of the times, the court has to forego or let go criminals or the accused because the proper procedure, such as the chain of custody, is not followed. Now you have to maintain a clear tamper-proof chain of custody, which is very important. Coming on to other basic thing, like whenever an incident happens, whether it's a corporate or in some other in an individual space, isolation of that particular infected device is very important, which people don't do. That's why most of the times you hear that there are multiple infections or lateral movement has taken place and the whole company has come down. So after identification, leaving the device connected to the network is like allowing a person to maneuver or the attacker to maneuver within the network. This leads to alteration, deletion of critical data, compromise of systems, and you have to actually isolate the device. Now also handling that particular powering of systems is very important, but there is a caveat here. Powering of systems can lead to loss of critical evidence because most of the evidence is in the memory, and once the system is switched off, and if you are not properly collected the evidence before switching off, you lose the network evidence, you lose the evidence which is in the memory. So in short, there is a proper, you can say, proper expert guidance which is required. Now one more thing, so, few companies or few you can say entities have their own teams who carry out the investigations, but the basic fundamental of any forensic investigation is imaging. You create an image on which you work on. You never work on original images. In some cases it is, you cannot do it if it's a live server running or something, but image is very important for before you carry out analysis. And it's a bit by bit image where the integrity check, where you say hashing is done. You must have heard this term a lot. Hashing is done. And so imaging before carrying out analysis is very important. That is one of the factors. Then using inappropriate tools, because people, they start using open source tools, they use tools which are should not be used. Forensics is a techno-legal thing, so you have to have commercial tools or the tools which have been vetted and verified by someone. Most of the law enforcement forensic companies or forensic labs use tools which are verified and vetted. So you have to use those tools, and so that they are also acceptable in the court of law. Like I said, we prepare forensics tool. We have mail examiner, we have data recovery tool, we have data wiping, data decausing, and such tools. Similarly, there are many other analysis tools, mobile tools, cloud tools. So in short, a right person with right, you can say, knowledge and with right resources is required to do this particular kind of task. One most important thing which I have seen is that people don't have an incident response plan. If an incident happened, how to go about it. Big companies also don't have this plan. I'm not saying all, but most of them, they don't have an incident response plan. If an incident happen, how will my team react? Which team will pitch in? How will my IT team react? How will my IR team react? How will my legal team react? How will the management react? So incident response plan is very much important, and in the part of that, the training of the people who are part of this team is very important, which is lacking. It's always seen that. That's why the evidence get impacted, the integrity gets diluted, or it loses integrity. Next thing is to find evidence. Nowadays, people try to only concentrate on the device where it is infected. Nowadays, evidence in the cloud, evidence is somewhere else, it's in the network. So identifying the evidence is also very important. So what I want to tell you here is that this is very niche and very, can say, technical field. So you require the right, you can say, knowledge person. That's why if you don't have, you can take services from companies who provide services, or from the experts who provide services, and so that you can avoid losing the evidence and then failing in the courts.
As you mentioned, there's a huge gap, right, in terms of the awareness and in terms of, is it like the companies are taking it lightly, or it's not fine coming into the priority bracket right now, if I may say so? Like cyber, I think security now, they are pushing themselves. I think they have no option Probably. So what about digital forensics? Do you think still
No,
long way?
I don't think so. They are taking it lightly. I think this field is a very costly field. To buy equipments, to have the resources who are costly. So they have solution. They can have written and model asset. They can go to the people who provide this kind of services. Like we provide such as SysTools, we provide our incident response services, because as I said, this is costly. Few people don't have the budgets to have even the tools or even the written and model. Like if you go to say the finance sector, like banking, they mostly are corporate banks or cooperative banks, or you can say government bank. Now they will not have that much budget. One incident investigation also is quite expensive to have the tool, and having or maintaining that is also too costly. Yearly renewal of licenses, then payment to the resources. So I don't think so they are not aware, or they are taking it lightly, but I think they have their own limitations. They need to prioritize it. I feel they need to prioritize it and do the needful, because you have to be ready. You have to be, if an incident happens nowadays, it's more of a reputational loss, financial loss, and companies have to close down in some cases.
Right.
So that is very important, and they have to take it on priority. I'll feel that they know it. Everyone knows this is happening.
Is it the cost? Probably they're just avoiding it. Maybe the cost is one of the major things that is.
Cost is one of the major reasons, and they have to go to the right people, right experts. They, if you require a particular kind of a doctor, you can't go to the other specialist, right?
Right.
Similarly, as you can't go to a cybersecurity guy when you require forensics or
Right.
investigations to take place.
Right.
So you
So,
have to do the gap analysis. You have to do the compliances. So you have to go with a person who actually knows how it is to be done in the right way.
and is this the same trend globally, or is it like per se in India per se we see this more in terms of the, as you
It's
mentioned?
globally, like as I said, it's globally. But again, I do agree that it's like in Hindi में कहावत है कि जब प्यास लगती तो कुआं खोदते हैं या
Right.
कुआं
Right.
ढूंढते हैं. So it's similarly happening. Everyone knows it's very important, but they think it will not happen to them, or that data is not that important. So what if it goes in the dark web? But if say suppose a company of mine or anyone's company's data is in the dark web, and that is reported via a law enforcement like Search India, then you will have to take action. You will
Right.
have to do the investigations.
Correct.
Then you pay heavily. If you
That's
would
what.
have done it before, you
Hmm.
might have paid 1x. Then you are ready to pay 10x also.
Hmm.
So that is how it goes.
Yeah. So as you rightly said, ये है कि till the time you don't feel like it will ever happen to you. So
Yes, yes.
yeah,
Forensics,
that.
they feel like my internal team will handle it. I have a guy who will handle it, but this is not the way it goes. Even if he can handle it, is he mandated that his reports will go in the court of law? Will it be acceptable? So all these things have to be taken into cognizance.
Hmm.
It's always third party investigation is always the right kind of investigation which is done. Others conflict of interest. My IT team cannot do my IR. My IT team cannot do forensic. Even if a person knows, it is why will I say something is wrong with me or with my what I have done before?
So there's a lot of awareness and I think inclination and will to needed to move ahead. Okay.
Yes.
Next question basically is more about the much talked about the deep fakes and the synthetic fraud, sir. So with AI powered cyber crimes like deep fakes and synthetic identity rising, how is digital forensics adapt to counter these threats?
The deepfakes have created a lot of problems to the investigators. The rise of the AI-powered cybercrimes, as you mentioned, like deepfakes or synthetic identity fraud, has definitely changed the game. In the past, we were mostly concerned with static data, logs, emails, hard drives investigation. Now we are looking at a very highly dynamic and artificially generated content designed. It deceives us also as analysts most of the times. So, as forensic practitioners, we have to evolve fast, and we are still lagging behind. But yes, we are catching up. For deepfake, what you mentioned, we have integrated AI into our toolkits for fighting this particular case. Now we have softwares which are good, which can identify AI, whether it's related to pornography or child sexual abuse material. We are also starting relying on cryptographic systems and other systems which are evolving. So digital forensic tools are also imbibing or involving or integrating AI as a part to. AI is a problem and AI is a solution also. So if it's a problem, we also use it as a solutions to fight or investigate such kind of crimes. If you see audio video analysis, they also employ, like in analysis we employ spectral samples, biometric voice print comparison and other things. And when it comes to synthetic identity tracing, it is very tricky because it combines real and fake data, right? So we use cross domain correlations we have to use, because in forensic you can't go only by tool or what is seen, so you have to use a lot of things. We use, like, we match fingerprints, IP histories, coming to digital forensic, behavior biometrics. So it's a mixture of forensics as such, overall forensic science, and try to solve this solution. So yes, these kinds of problems are there, and we are looking forward and trying to solve it to the best of our, experience and knowledge what we withhold.
Great, great. I'm sure, and I'm sure it will help largely in kind of combating this entire trend, challenge, which is.
Yes, if you see on the proactive side of it, we are using machine learning to detect anomalies in the user behavior, in the communications, which indicate things. So yes, we are using it. So it has been very handy while doing the investigations.
One more question I'd like to add, like if you look at it in terms of the businesses and the individuals, in when it comes to deep fakes and synthetic, frauds, basically where the largely the numbers are, is it the businesses are there are more cases there, or in terms of the individuals?
So mostly, what I'll tell you, deepfakes are impacting the businesses, even the governments. I'll tell you on the businesses, because there have been cases where deepfakes are created of the C-suite, management, and they've been asked to transfer funds or make decisions. When it comes to government, politicians, deepfakes have been made, and they are made to vote to a particular kind of a party implement. So it's more at the higher macro level, where it's corporates or where it's governments, which has been more impacted than an individual. Individual, yes, but it's like, no one will like to put in so much efforts on an individual. It is like a state level kind of activity which has state. When I mean state, it's a country level activity which needs to be which has been carried out when it comes to deepfake. For annoying purposes, yes, because a lot of tools are there available, so I can make your deepfake and put it if want to harm you in that sense. But most of the gains are at the level of companies, corporate, at the government levels.
Now moving to my another question, like you mentioned digital forensics, right? It's a very niche kind of field, right? Now I understand, as you mentioned, there's a lot of gap. Companies still don't, cost is one of the factors, and mostly it is like my IT team can handle it, right? Most of the companies have this perception. Now, for the benefit of the the companies and the heads of those companies who still are not able to kind of differentiate between what a digital forensics or cybersecurity is, I would really request if you can just give us a kind of a simple differentiation exactly, so that it will help people for their for better understanding exactly what exactly is digital forensics and how it impacts, and what are the ways to kind of reduce or mitigate the risks.
Okay, if you see, cybersecurity is a very big umbrella. Cybersecurity, you're protecting your data, your systems, your network, your software, and so on and so forth. So even personal data also comes into that. Your corporate data comes into that. So anything in the digital world which you are connected to, where you are using the resources, that falls under the gambit of cybersecurity umbrella, and you're protecting that. So by protecting that, you are actually going into the in and outs of everything, whether software is made, whether it has been checked for vulnerabilities which can be exploited later, whether if there are systems in place, whether VAPT or vulnerability assessment of the system has been carried out. Now it says that humans are the weakest link, so whether they are trained so they don't click on phishing emails and get compromised, and the systems don't compromise. So cybersecurity is huge. You can say it's an umbrella, as I said.
Yeah.
But now, when you say digital forensics, it only happens when there's some. It is after you have failed or after some incident has happened in your company.
Cite an example, it will be very helpful. If there is any example, if you can.
So, for example, if someone has sent you a mail and you have clicked on it, your computer has been compromised, and that's at the same time your data has been leaked, and with the help of your system, your company servers have been compromised. So that means the cybersecurity posture of a company was not good. You were not trained. There were no patches. There was no audits carried out. No one had checked your system. So these are the weaknesses or vulnerabilities, and the attackers exploited this vulnerability to phish you, or to get into your company network. Now, once this has happened, then someone has to do the root cause analysis. How this happened? Who did it? What was sent? What was the payload? So there is where digital forensics comes into place. So digital forensics is basically investigation and finding out root cause, what happened, how it happened, and how it can be prevented. So it's like a output of digital forensics will become an input for the cybersecurity people, so that they patch those loopholes. If I say, okay, this particular happened because the email came into your mailbox and this person clicked, like Kavita clicked it. So now they'll say, okay, if it came to your mailbox, how did that attachment come in? That means my firewall did not work properly. So let's check my firewall. And if the attachment came in, if Kavita clicked it, why did he click it? That means there was no awareness carried out in the team. So let's carry out awareness campaign. If she clicked it, how did it impact the other ecosystem?
Right.
So indirectly, the output of forensics can be an input to how you can improve your cyber security posture. So cyber security is about protecting system. Digital forensics is about investigating and giving the lessons learned to the back to the you can say the IT team who can implement those things, and also pinpointing and finding. Some may have an intent of doing that. So what the intent was, like you may have clicked it, but your intent may not be to do it. So
Right.
that was unaware. But if some people want to say do some espionage in a company, I will upload my company's IP data to the Google Cloud, and from home I will access it and give it, or the next company I join, I'll use it to make a product. So this is all different things. So you come to know you come to know how it happened, and what is the impact to you or as an individual, to the company, or to the state as a whole. So it is, you can say they go hand in hand. Maybe digital forensics comes later, and for cybersecurity it has to be from the start.
Right. And coming to another question is, like you said that there are a lot of tools, right, that you have. Now, for example, a small size startup, if they start a company, so if in case they want to, right from day one, want to have these kind of, which tool they should have, which you would suggest or recommend as a, first round kind of a defense, if they have to have, if you can.
I'll answer this question in a different way. As a startup, I would recommend that they don't have any tools to, big tools to make, because they'll spend a lot of means money on this particular setup. So I will recommend them to go on a retainer model with someone where people will come and address their incidents if they happen. That will be a much cheaper option. But yes, few tools they should have in their kitty, because if you see any company or any startup, it has to identify, okay, what is my forte, what kind of attacks can happen to me. If I'm a bank, I know, okay, there'll be some financial frauds happening.
Right.
There will be a ransomware attack happening. If I'm a logistic company, I know, okay, what is going to happen. So firstly, identify what types of attacks can hit you, and
Right.
then every company, some common attacks are going to hit you, like emails. We mentioned emails are going to come. So business email compromise, frauds can happen and will happen.
Right.
So the tools which can address business email compromise, or some incident response tools, like you can use those. So you can have some tools which are mandatory, and other big investigation which are costly tools, you can rely on the third party investigation. See, the future of cyber forensic investigation is being shaped by the complexity of the attacks. So you
Right.
have to identify the proper attacks which can happen. So that's why you should have a crisis management plan, what we call in a company. As forensic expert, for analysis, I have used 10 different tools. But should they have it?
Exactly. That's what.
If,
Right.
if you ask me, I may say no. But if you say, if you require an email investigation tool, or if you require a data recovery tool, or if you require a incident response tool, I will say yes. But if you want a forensic password cracking tool, no. If you want mobile cracking tool, for example, but you can do. But if it's a big company, yes, you can have those things also at your disposal, because you not like your internal cases to go out. There are plethora of tools in every segment. If I need an imaging tool, I have 10 tools. If I need an analysis tool, I have another 10 tools. If I need a mobile forensic tool, I have another 10 tools. The platter is big. So whatever, if you are a forensic company or a forensic lab, then yes, I would recommend you should have the best of tools.
Right.
Like if you see analysis, you have a lot of make in India tools which are coming up. Like you have a Pro Discover, which is a make in India tool. You have you can say a MyFRT tool for analysis. You have Mail Examiner, which is our tool. We have a Mobisec tools. You have CDAC tools. yeah, you should have mix of tools which are here also made in India also, and which are best of the tools in the globally which are acceptable, whether it's Magnet Axiom or MSAB
Mhm.
or any other tool. Means I don't want to take only few tools. It will be wrong on my part because I've
Right,
been in
right.
this ecosystem and all the OEMs know me. So
Mm.
all the tools you can use it in that particular segment, and but I would recommend that for us, you ask for a startup, so startup can have only tools related to the attacks, which they will have to investigate very frequently.
Right.
Emails, IR, some other tools. They have to identify the type of attacks which are going to
Right.
hit them. So the analysis is required. Otherwise, I've seen people who buy what is not required.
Exactly.
So
That's what,
yeah,
yeah.
they should not go for that. And the big companies, yes, they should have this in their kitty. And government, 100%, they should have most of the tools, even if it is multiple tools, because forensics is all about this. Different tools should be able to extract the same evidence from that particular device. So you should
Right.
have multiple kinds of tools doing the same task. If for analysis, I can have 4 to 5 tools in a lab, but not in
Mhm.
a corporate scenario or in a startup scenario.
Got it. So from the okay, so from the government perspective, and analysis is more kind of tools are more required, and it's very much dependent on the kind of nature of business you are, right? That's very important. And
Yes.
and
Yes.
first of all, well, research has to be done at what kind of an analysis, what kind of attacks the company can have, and then subsequently go ahead and invest in the right kind of tools. That should be the next step.
Forensic is only not for law enforcement. First, it was thought it was only for law enforcement.
Exactly.
It
Yes.
is no more. Businesses needs to actually be proactive while selecting the tools and having a proper strategy of putting in place when they have to handle such kind of situations.
Right.
So I feel in the next 5 to 10 years, forensics will be a critical pillar of every startup or every, you can say, entity or a corporate or a law enforcement, because see, everyone has to be IT enabled. Everyone is going to use
Right.
devices. Technology is going to be used. There's so much proliferation of internet network. So this is going to be one of the basic thing and mandatory thing. How they want to get it in a phased manner, in a year, 2 years plan, or they want to stick to a, as I said, a third party coming and doing that is also fine. Nothing bad in that.
And what steps are, as a company, you all take in terms of driving this awareness?
Our aim is not only selling our products as
Right.
such, it's our also our responsibility to make people aware that such
Right.
things doesn't happen. As I said, if you know my portfolio very well. For last
Right.
25 years, I've been doing a lot of mentoring, awareness classes, capacity
Absolutely.
building, trainings, which has always been a other aspect of, and this is a professional aspect, that is a more of a societal aspect
Right.
which
Right.
is there. So everyone is doing that. Companies also do it. Companies conduct webinars, seminars on their products, tools, how they can do the analysis, how they impact in awareness, depending on type of products they have at their
Mhm.
disposal. So
Right.
everyone is actually playing the part, but is it enough? No.
Mhm.
Are we going at the right pace? Maybe not.
Mhm.
And do we require more? It's a very, very big yes.
Very big list. Okay. Yeah. So hopefully, maybe I'll say in a positive way, in the years to come, it will be people, there'll be more awareness and there'll be more willingness from the businesses and individuals to go ahead and
There
imbibe.
is, because when the corporates are there or any business, even if it's startup, they look from the business perspective,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So, and why not? But
Mhm.
I feel like if you see, there are some CSR funds companies have, they spend on different things. So nowadays, companies have started spending on the cyber awareness part also, donating IT hardware also, and many other aspects. So
Mhm.
it depends.
And that's a great move also, actually. Like, so in terms of driving the awareness, that's a good
Yes,
step. Yeah.
yes.
Now, sir, since we have been talking about the entire, the digital forensics piece and cybersecurity as well, I would not like to leave you without asking this question: is like, what are the challenges or and trends in cybersecurity, and where do you see the future, in cybersecurity?
Predicting future is very difficult, nowadays, because every day you have a new technology coming. But to say it in a very simplistic word, the future of cybersecurity is going to be shaped by a perfect storm of advanced technologies and evolving threat actors, because that is very important. We are heading into an area where cyber resilience, not defense, will define our success. For example, we spoke about AI. Everyone is speaking of AI, but AI as a storm. if you see in last 1 year, that is when I say 1 year, it is 23-24, because the statistics of 23-24 is out. There was 1200% increase in phishing mail attacks by the use of AI only. Means AI was used to do a phishing
Wow.
attack. So it was you can say 1200% increase, which is a humongous increase.
Right.
So AI is a threat also and tool also, I mentioned. Now people are also speaking on, it's very important also, the zero trust will become a standard practice, and it should, because the traditional parameter has gone. Users, apps, data is everywhere. So the zero trust will be an important factor. Next important is कि everything has gone to the cloud, and cloud will be the priority. So in future you have to be on the cloud, investigate the cloud, and live with the cloud. When you speak of the cybercrimes, which will increase cybercrime as a service, because as I said, everything is coming as a service. I want to attack you, so I will just pay someone ki, okay, you just defame, or you deface the website which Kavita is running. Even if I don't know, I can do it. On the other aspects, even if I tell a AI to give me a code which can deface the YouTube channel, or you can say website of Kavita, it will give me. So I don't have to be a developer for that case. Privacy regulations also will drive security issues. DPTP is coming in. I know, I'm 100% sure you must have had a podcast with someone on this particular
Yes.
issue. And human factor will always be at risk. Quantum computing is also coming in a big way. So these things are very, very important. But one thing which I want to tell you is, 20 let me tell you few things now here. In this case, if you see, now the passwords have gone. The future is, it will be of passkeys. Now people are not using passwordless technology will come in. When you speak of trends, AI is there. Quantum computing is a new trend. Everyone is going to that. Any hacks taking place, it said people are keeping that hacked encrypted data, so that once quantum come in, they'll be able to decrypt that data, and they'll have what they want as such. IoT in every segment, in the companies, robotics, in, you can say, automotive. IoT is a big thing. Cyber insurance is one more trend which people will like to go into. Reduce skill gap. Now I know always used to say that the skill is missing, but in future I feel this gap will reduce, because there are a lot of AI based tools, tutors coming in and everything. So this is going to reduce. I hope so this happens. This is the positive aspect of which I feel of a trend. When I said about something which in next year 2025, which I feel is there, of course these things will be there, but also is that about you can say shadow AI, because AI tools are so much available. So if in my company I have given some authorized tools to use for AI, which we do, as I said, we are a AI powered company, but some employee will use other tools which are not allowed in my company, but they are AI tools. So shadow AI is also going to become a very big issue in the in coming days. Second, which people have not realized, that we will be using AI, but AI will also become a target of attack. So the attack surface for AI will also increase. So that is there. Now, one very interesting thing is happening or will happen. We'll have cybersecurity for AI and AI for cybersecurity. So it's like that. So you'll have to implement cybersecurity for AI, and AI will be used for cybersecurity. So that is few trends which I foresee, and of course many things are happening, and they are very dynamic. As I said in the start, deepfakes you have already discussed. Data leakage and misinformation. Deepfakes can be used for misinformation, right? And mostly everyone is nowadays in the AI. We are using Gen AI. We have spoken AI so many times, but
Right.
other than AI, also we have other IT infrastructure coming up, other devices coming up, other restrictions coming up globally. So people will now develop their own tools and products in their own indigenous way, like we are doing in India.
Right.
So these things are there, and cybersecurity and forensics. But cybersecurity is gaining or will gain more importance in days to come. It will be difficult to manage if you don't have the right resources and you can say the wherewithal to deal with such kind of incident. So you have to be forensic ready, cybersecurity ready, and you have to be ready for any kind of eventuality which comes your way in the means of cyber incident happening at your organization or even to an individual.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So the arsenal has to be completely ready, actually.
Yeah, and the government has to pitch in, and like Indian government has pitched in a very big way. Like
Hmm.
it has certain which has its own program, like which has its like the Cyber Swachhata Kendra. If that
Right.
any incidents happening at your to an individual, they inform it, they tell how to clean it, they provide software. But yes, the government also has to pitch in, which they are doing, and companies has to pitch in, individuals has to pitch in. So cybersecurity is not is everyone's business, not
Right.
only the government's business. It's your business, it's my business, it's how we protect ourselves. It's a company's business also, that's for there. So we have to go all together.
Right. So while you were, kind of highlighting and talking about the various trends and the threads and the upcoming years, you spoke about shadow AI. So would be a little, can you elaborate a bit more on that? It would be very interesting to know, actually.
See, you must have heard shadow IT, right? If it's an
Yes.
organization, you
Yes.
have 10 devices. There may be other 10 devices working, which I don't know,
Yeah.
and they may be impacting my
Yes.
security posture.
Yes.
The same is the concept of shadow AI. Everyone is using AI. AI for, you can say, accounts, AI for development, AI for some of my other verticals, say
Right.
for the compliance. But while I'm using that, there may be many other AI based tools or other components which may be used by companies which I don't know within my company. Now they can become an attack surface, or they can be vulnerable for attacks, and they can become my entry point for being compromised and such. So it is like it's a shadow. It's there and you don't know, right? And it's don't know, and they become the cause for anything happening in the future, and it brings bad names or reputational loss or breach or financial loss. So that's how it is.
So one thing, like while all this is evolving, but the one human intervention has to be, or the human, it's that's
Oh,
the remains a core thing, actually, right? Like
see, that you have actually asked one question in a different way. People ask, "Is AI going to take my jobs?" Right.
right, right,
So that is not the case actually. See, you have to reskill. At the end of the day, decision making has to be done by human. AI cannot take. At least in this stage, AI cannot make decisions for you. Which tool to run, how to go, how you want it. Means there has to be some conscious decision making,
right,
and at the end, you require a human being. Yes, and when I say reskills, if I have a developer, I can train the developer to use AI tools, and so that he can enable himself. So
right.
you have to actually relearn things,
Yes,
and that's how it has to go. Means so you have to be very aggressive as a company to adopt any technology coming in. I feel you have to embrace technology
right.
rather than avoid it. I'll give a simple
Fun.
example. If you're not on LinkedIn, or if you're not on Insta for that matter, so is it good or bad? I'll ask you a question. So you may say it's good. I don't want to be on Facebook. Why should I be on Facebook?
Right,
But if I give you if I justify, or if I give you that if you're not there, someone is impersonating as you in Facebook. So
right,
it's better I be there and I do this. So it's a double-edged weapon. You're not on Insta, but someone is there on Insta with your name or with your channel name.
right,
So it's not that you have to be everywhere. I just wanted to tell you that
no,
not being everywhere is also not a good thing. You have to be where you have to be, and you have to embrace technology. You have to embrace what is coming up. That's a better way of solving problems rather than not being there. Because I heard a lot of people, "No, I'm not on Insta. I'm not on
right,
Facebook."
right. Yeah, yeah.
So it's okay. It's good. Nothing bad. But there's other aspect to it also.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think generally people have not thought about it. So here your expertise comes into picture. That if you're not there, then also there is a challenge. Now, sir, I also want to ask you one more question because you have been, with the rich, wide experience you have, in terms of digital forensics. Can you bring, to light, or you can kind of highlight one of the high-profile cybercrime cases where, forensic investigation turned the tide actually, and what key lessons businesses can learn from it?
To be very truthful, out of my around 27 years, most of the years, 22 and a half, I have been the law enforcement. So of course, I can't discuss those due to confidentiality. But a lot of cases, more than I can say, at least 700 to 800 cases I have done within the government. But I would like to tell you a very important case study which is available on the, you can say, internet for everyone. You must have heard of a Colonial Pipeline cyber attack which took
Right,
place in the US, right? in which the whole East Coast was impacted, and the fuel supply was stopped, and it resulted in fuel hike rise, long lines at the gas stations. It even went to the extent that the ransom was paid. I think it was $4.4 million which were paid as a ransom. So this is a case which happened. But if you see, the case was also solved by forensic investigations. The money was taken in the form of cryptocurrency, distributed to different wallets, and in that case, the agencies, one of its kind of investigation, they were able to identify not all the money, but more than 80% of the money, which wallets it went, how it was transferred, and they were able to recover that money. So this is how forensics investigations have very important in any kind of scenario. I'll also give other kind of scenarios when people are able to identify if there's a data leakage on the dark web.
Right.
So in that case, forensics plays a very important role. Forensics is the need of the hour. I'll put it that way, without going and telling you more case studies. Because when we tell a case study, it's a reputational loss to that particular entity happening. They happened, and it's good. And let me tell you one thing, that the handling of the incident was very good, and most of them don't do it. For example, when a breach happened, like certain say, come and report to me. People don't report because of say reputation loss.
Right.
But if you report, they will come and help you out. If you go and tell people that okay, this breach has happened, yes, for the timing it may impact you, but on the long run it is going to make you that people will feel that these are transparent agencies. They are very right. They are serious about the security, and they are going to amend this what is happening, because there's no institution, or there's no entity which will be away from this kind of incidents happening. So being more transparent and being more, you can say, approachable to such kind of incident is the right way. And there every day hundreds of incidents or thousands of incidents are happening which people don't report or companies don't report. But yes, it's means since being in the law enforcement and in the government, I will always recommend that be reported. But at least do a thorough investigation and find out the root cause, so that you can patch those things, or you can come back to business. As I said in the start, resilience is very important. You can't be off business for 10 days or 20 days. Just imagine stock exchange off for even 1 hour, billions of dollars will go down the drain. Similarly, a company which is into say railways going off for a day, or an electric grid going off for say 10 days, or a company being shut down like us who does development, then again, so it's a huge loss for everyone. The impact is very huge. So the approach is very important, and discussing it is very important. Having a crisis management plan is very important. Having an incident response plan is important. Allocating resources in terms of finances, in terms of manpower, is very important. So at the management level, when you are at that position, yes, people are thinking, I don't want to just give a blanket statement that people are not doing. People are doing it. But are they doing sufficient? I think they have to ask themselves whether they are doing sufficient or not. If they say yes, then it's good. If they say no, then they should pull up their socks.
Definitely, that's a very insightful point that you made. Actually, thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure to have you, and it was a very insightful and discussion, especially on digital forensics, and and the close role it plays with cybersecurity under the umbrella. Because I think there are a lot of companies whom we engage and we speak to. Still, the awareness is not there about digital forensics. So
See, I just made today a LinkedIn post. It's not about awareness. Awareness. Let someone other do awareness. You have to come to brass tacks. You have to give products. You have to give solutions. You have to do things. So this is the. When I mentioned in today's one of my posts, that which I'm very active in on social media. You must have seen that let the seniors do the awareness part. The juniors have to be innovative and be on ground, field work, do development, do things. So awareness is yes important, but there's a right kind of people who are there to do awareness. So the people who are listening to you, I would recommend that please go the innovative way. Please don't go the way, because that is there, of course, but that is a byproduct. Awareness is a byproduct. I feel you have to be more. You have to be counted. You have to be counted globally. You have to be counted. That's what I feel.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. That again is again a very valid and a very compelling point that you made actually. So thank you so much for coming today for a discussion. It was really a pleasure and very insightful to have you today. Thank you so much, and we look forward to more interactive sessions like this in future.
No,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Kavita.
Thank you.
Last words, you practice whatever you're practicing, but I would tell your viewers that please support Make in India, give support to Indian companies, Indian talent. That's the way forward for all of us. Jai Hind.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir.